Come close to me, my son, for I am about to teach you a rite of passage that every Spanish man and most women need to know. Every Spanish citizen must be aware. I'm adjusting my microphone. Let me adjust that microphone. There you go. There you go. Every Spanish citizen must know this. It is not optional. It's in the freaking Constitution. You must know how to make a Spanish omelette. Spanish omelette, potato, onion, egg. Those are the ingredients you need. Then, of course, salt to taste and some olive oil to be able to cook these ingredients. Do you count the oil as part of the ingredients? I don't think that counts, right? It's just assumption that you're going to need some oil to be able to cook these things. But I would be shocked if you speak to any Spaniard out there that does not know how to make a freaking omelet. It is something that every teenager and young adult needs to learn, like frying an egg. It needs to be learned. You don't need to be good at it, but you need to go through this process and get it done and learning well. And if you are a proper Spaniard, you will develop your very own proprietary way of making a Spanish omelet. This is a staple food in Spain. Accompany with a hunk of bread. You accompany. My mother loves it with banana, believe it or not. And while it's not my first choice, it's actually really good with a freaking nice ripe banana. Either way, let me teach you the secret of the omelette making, my son. You will need, as I said, 3 ingredients. Potatoes 4, onion 1, 6 eggs. Then not sprinkling, perhaps like a spritz of olive oil. Get the bottom of the pan nicely coated, maybe to the width of a coin. You want it at the bottom of this pan, not a ton. You can get away with a lot less, but you'll have to be stirring way more if you want to get away with less oil, so that your stuff doesn't stick, you know. But for our purposes, you're going to take 4 potatoes. You're going to gather them nicely. You're going to peel them. You're going to cut them in half and then another half so that they are quartered. And then you're going to coin them. I don't want to say dice them. You want to coin them. The width must be, and I am saying must with the context that this is the way I make it. You will see a lot of recipes out there and they will be not radically different, but you will see differences. You want the width of your potato slices to be about 1/4 of an inch, a little bit less than a centimeter. And the reason why you want them that wide is because that way they will cook at about the same, they will be done at about the same rate that your onion will be done in the same pan. If you cut that potato in laminates, if you make it real thin, yeah, they will cook much faster, but you're going to end up with a little bit of potato mush instead of nice potato almost fries. You're aiming to cook these potatoes to the point that they are kind of fries. They have a nice light crunch on the outside. Not quite a crunch. I guess sautéed will be a good way to put it. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. You're going to coin the potatoes. Watching this son of a bitch. Probably if we just stand here, he will eventually commit seppuku. We could help him along. I'm sure if I get close, he will interact in a lethal manner with these spikes. My brother. Get yourself dead. Well, we have run out of time. Whoop! Hopefully there was no vault to be found in this particular level. Coin them potatoes. Put them in a bowl. Chop up the onion nice and thin. Don't mince it, because that would once again give you a nasty onion mush, and it will get way overcooked. The goal is to not use more than one pan, you see. So if you simply chop it, in Spanish, the technique is called en juliana, and it's basically a three-way chop of the onion. It's really there's no deep science to this. You just chop up an onion in small pieces. It's really not complicated in the slightest. And you put all those together. Then put the oil in the pan. Heat it up. Nice and hot. My trick whenever I heat up oil to cook things is to grab one of the pieces of onion or whatever I'm trying to cook and just drop it in there while it's heating. And once the piece of food starts sizzling, then you know that, oh, it's time to start cooking. You reduce the heat to medium-high, a little bit closer to medium than high. And then you dump all the stuff in there. And you start coating your potato and your onion in the oil, nice and even and smooth. Get it all nice and stirred in there. And then, after that's done, you basically keep stirring about once a minute. You stir it real nice, you leave it for a minute. You stir it real nice, leave it for a minute. The shopkeeper's up there. We kind of want him out, yeah. Oh. Poor Adam never knew what was coming. He is collateral damage. He was trying to play. Why is there still shopkeeper music? What is going on here? I don't know. Oh man, this ghost is gonna be a pain in my asshole, isn't he? What we can do is something like this. Get all the way to this side. Ah, that's why. Ugh. I do want the gloves, but I don't think I want to risk my ass to get these gloves. Even though, you know, it's kind of important to get these gloves. Anyway, get that done. Now the potato and the onion, they are in the pan. Did I say four? Yeah, I did say 4 medium. I did not go deep into the. This is a mortal sin. Go deep into the potatoes. These are golden potatoes, not russet potatoes. Honestly, I've never tried russet potatoes for this. They may be really good for it, but I just never done it that way. Golden potatoes of the kind that, you know, they peel. They have very thin skin. You want thin-skinned potatoes. Oh, this is awful. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Oh, hello. Just don't die. Worked out, baby. All right. Got my climbing gloves. That could have easily been a death. That's the kind of potatoes you want. Anyway. And this dish will run you about $7 and will feed 3 people. It is a staple of frugal dining, and it's so good. There's a reason why this is one of the staple foods and something that most Spaniards will be able to whip up at a moment's notice, because it is delicious, it is nutritious, and it's cheap. Oh, it's cheap. For $7, you can get a great supply of just sandwiches. You see, making an omelette sandwich is a delight when it's been cooked for a whole day, and you slap it between 2 slices of hunky bread. Not sliced bread, you frickin' heathen! Disgusting! You make it with normal bread, as you will call it in Spain. There's sliced bread and there's normal bread. This maniac is over there. Needs to die. 1,000,000 deaths. displeases me. All right. So anyway, now that we have covered the basics that I forgot to mention in the start, you got the taters and the onions. They are cooking nicely together. You stir, leave it a minute, stir, leave it a minute. After doing that a couple times, it's time to add salt. The total amount of salt you're going to need for this dish is 1.5 teaspoons. If you like your food salty, add a pinch. If you like your food less salty, subtract a pinch. Salt, pretty important to make it taste really good. Without salt, it's going to be really lacking flavor. So the 1 teaspoon, you add it to the onion and the potato so that it sweats in the pan, releases all the juices, all the flavor, all that good stuff. And the 1/2 teaspoon, you're going to use it on the egg later on, or as you get ready to mix everything later. You put the salt, sprinkle it nicely. Oh, with the climbing glass, this is kind of annoying as hell, isn't it? Let's do something like this. All right. Will this work? Yeah. So you sprinkle that teaspoon of salt into the pan and then keep stirring in the same method that I have already mentioned. Over and over and over and you need to do that until the potato is nicely, it's eatable. When potatoes are edible, or they're nicely cooked and they're pleasant to eat, that's when you release it. It will take you about 25-30 minutes depending on the thickness of these potato slices. Do I gamble on these 2 crates? Oof. I think I'm not gonna. This gamble may make the run fundamentally different, but I'm not going to gamble on those crates. Now the potato and the onion is getting close to being cooked. You crack them eggs. That's probably going to be, these days, it used to be super cheap. These days, that's probably going to be the most expensive ingredient. Getting 6 eggs out of the carton. May have to take a second mortgage on your cardboard box to be able to afford it. But, totally worth it. It's totally worth it. So just do it. Crack some 6 eggs into a bowl. Beat them until they are uniformly orange. You can leave a little bit of white there if you feel like it. It really doesn't matter. It's all going to get nicely cooked. But, beat them until they're uniform. You don't need to beat them any further than that. And then you add the 1/2 teaspoon of salt to that and then mix it real nicely so that it's uniformly salted. And then, once you have a nicely cooked mix of onion and potato, the onion will barely be there anymore. You can barely see it anymore in that nice delicious mush that you have created. It's not a mush. It's the potatoes. There's another way of telling. You will see that they're starting to come apart a little bit. Come apart at the seams. They're releasing some potatoiness into the rest of the mixture. My brother, where's the friggin' black market? Is that it? I don't see it down there. What a cursed level. No to find the black market. It could have also been at the corner in the previous level. What a nightmare. Anyway, now you have this nice pile of food in your pan that is cooked. While still hot, you turn off the heat, which has been between medium and high. Actually, you can just leave the heat on medium. Keep the pan hot, because this will not take long. You pour that good stuff onto the eggs and you mix it real nicely. Doesn't have to be mixed forever. Just make sure it's all uniform. Yeah, we don't have any black market because this seed is just complete shit-ass garbage is the problem. This seed has been cursed by you potato unappreciative sons of bitches that don't know to appreciate this deliciousness that I'm speaking of. What the freaking hell is going on? I'm done with this. What a garbage seed. Mix it all together in that bowl and then pour it all back into the pan. You actually let it stand in the bowl for a minute or two. Let it stand in the bowl for a minute or two. It makes it so that the egg will bind to the potato and the onion. To the potato and the onion. And then you pour everything onto the pan, which you should have reduced to medium heat. Oh yeah, the oil. That's a very important bit of the whole process. Because if you use very little oil, you won't need to do this. You would have been stirring constantly if you use very little oil for this. But if you use the kind of oil that I am talking about, you will have a little too much oil in that pan. So to remove it to remove the potato and the onion from the pan, you need to make sure not to grab all that oil. You don't need to sieve it. No, it's not sieve it. You don't need to put it through a colander. You know, you just grab a spatula or a spoon or any kind of utensil and you tilt the pan away from the spoon so you can just spoon out the potato and the onion. It's really not complicated. Just do that and put it all in the bowl with the egg. And then after that, you can mop up the excess oil. Just make sure to leave the pan just a nicely dampened, nicely damp with a nice sprinkling of oil so that later the egg won't stick to it. Or so the egg can cook nicely on top of it. If you are being particularly frugal, you can save this oil to do this whole process all over again. If you are really hurting for those $2 of olive oil, you know, it's not cheap. Olive oil is freaking arm and a leg to purchase a small bottle the size of a pigeon. So I will not blame you. I will not judge you in the slightest if you are like, this olive oil is going into a small container, buddy. There is no way I'm not saving this, okay? I had to sell my firstborn to be able to afford this bit of oil right here that you have forced me to utilize for this dubiously delicious dish. So anyway, you can do that. So you got now a nicely dampened pan with a bowl next to it. It has egg, it has potato, it has onion, all beautifully salted. You pour all that onto the pan and you let that cook for a few minutes. This is the part that you're gonna have to have the most experience with. It's like, how long do you cook this egg? Until you are able to lift it and it doesn't break. That is how long you cook it. You just kind of eyeball it. I would say a good timer is about 5 minutes. And then, once the 5 minutes are over, here comes the critical time. Why is the gameplay suddenly choppy? Like, I noticed for no reason at all, the game just became choppy and annoying as hell. It is on the gameplay itself. It is not the recording. It's right on screen. It was buttery smooth, and then suddenly it looked like ass. So not very pleased about that, but I'm not going to restart the game or nothing, so I'll just have to deal with it. You can do it. What a weird entrance. Excuse me, sir. Now comes the struggle. This is where all the noobs choke. You have to flip this omelet. It is the meme-worthy moment that many a cook has been vanquished by. And the trick is to not be afraid. The omelet can sense. It can sense it when you are afraid, when you are hesitant, when you don't attack this omelet with all your confidence. That is when it detects that you don't know what you're doing, and it's going to make a disaster when you flip it. It is much vaulted as a terrible, difficult thing. It's really not. I still get nervous when I do it because it's just kind of ingrained in you that it's hard, but it really isn't. You just hold the pan in one hand. You hold a plate over the pan, the biggest plate you can find in your cardboard cupboard. And then you quickly turn, and with utter confidence, you're turning around. I restarted a Spelunky, by the way, and it did not get rid of the choppiness. It's very weird. I don't know what causes it, because it looked great, and then suddenly it didn't. It's so bizarre. I just need to restart, but I literally just started the computer to make this video, so I have no idea, brother. Anyway, you're flipping this omelet. You put a plate over the pan. You hold it real nice onto it so it covers the whole circumference. If the plate doesn't cover the entirety of the pan, you're doing this wrong. By the way, the pan, I should have specified, this is a medium pan. In inches, I don't know what to tell you, how many inches. Just a medium pan. Make sure that... Thanks, bud. Make sure that it's a little deep, because you're going to be stirring a pile of potatoes and onion in there. So if you don't want to make a mess, it'll help a lot if the pan is deep. How do you even get me? I need to watch the replay there, because he had just shot and he didn't do a punch animation. So what exactly killed me there? It'll help a lot if the pan is deep. I don't know. I guess he did a shot, but it didn't work out. You flip the omelet onto the plate. Don't worry, I'll show you a video. There you go. Here's somebody flipping this omelet. That's right, I'm breaking out the editor. I'm pasting some footage on top of this tutorial of random people cooking omelets. I have even assisted this teaching of mine, my son, with beautiful graphics, making sure that you know what I'm talking about, because I really care about your education, and this is going to help you going forward with your life. Whenever you got 4 potatoes, an onion, and a hunger, well, you know what to cook. This whole process is only going to take you 1 hour. Probably not even as much as it will take you to go through the damn Chipotle drive-thru. It will be faster to go home and get yourself cooking. Don't be lazy. Don't be a piece of garbage. Just freaking do it. So here you go. You have flipped this beautiful omelet onto the plate, and then you slide it back onto that pan. And then you cook it for another 3 minutes or so. And here's where your preference will take over. My father loves a goopy omelet. He will extol the virtues of a goopy omelet till kingdom come. Well, that's upsetting. But my wife, she hates a goopy omelet. She cannot stand it. my mother and I, we're in a happy medium. We like it a little juicy. Rather have it dry than wet. But we'll take it either way. We're just happy to be here, my mother and I. Let's do something like this. There you go. Either way, depending on how you like it, you need to cook it more or less. If you like it real nicely cooked, you keep the heat in medium and you just do like 5 minutes on one side, 3 minutes the other. The omelet will be a nice golden color. If it's browned, if your egg has browned, you went too far. You burned the egg, it's going to affect the way it tastes. Some people like the way that tastes. I absolutely despise the taste of burnt eggs. Cannot stand it. So that is the place where I have felt the most shame when I go through the entire process of making this delicious, delectable delicatessen only to ruin it completely in the final step. Truly a point of shame that I cannot possibly recover from. Everything went according to plan. I'm too good at the video game, you think. This guy can also get out, of course. If one got out, the other one can. There you go. So now you have a nice golden omelet on both sides. You put it on the plate, and you know, if you undercooked it, always err on the side of undercooking it, because you can simply cut into it a little bit, just cut a wedge on the outside of the omelet, and if it's runny, you can just shove it right back into the pan and you're not ruining anything. It's not like a steak where, oh, all the juices are going to ooze out now. You ruined it. No, my good friend. This thing is a flexible, nice, versatile dish that you can have in good times and the bad. You can have a poor man's omelet, or you can be a super fancy omelet, because it's not just those 4 ingredients. Omelets are things that can take any ingredients. You can go insane, put some sweet potatoes, some freaking arugula, or some fancy ass garbage like that. You can go rustic, put some chorizo, some nice serrano ham. Oh, luxury identified in items. Ooh. But my mainstay, my staple, my go-to, the thing that I enjoy the most, really, all the fancy stuff, it's just you're overselling it. You're overdoing it. Just 4 ingredients, and that's it. Salt, potato, onion, egg. And then if you want to get fancy, just have everything else around it. You have a nice cut of chorizo next to it. You have some cheese. You have a hunk of bread is the usual way to eat it. You can eat it with rice. You can eat it with all kinds of stuff. Anything you can have an egg with, you can have an omelet with. Anything you can have potatoes with, you can have an omelet with. Or all by itself with some ketchup, some mustard. I like it with mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is my favorite condiment, especially to make this sandwich. Hunk of bread, mayonnaise spread on both sides. Not a ton, or it will overpower the flavor. Just a nice sprinkling for a little bit of extra tang, you know. And just the omelet, and it will be perfection. Perfection. There is no other sandwich in this world that I enjoy more than an omelet sandwich. You may have no idea what this dish looks like. I may have just introduced you to the entire concept of a Spanish omelet. But believe you me, if you try it out, you will not regret it. If you don't get it right the first time, don't worry. Legions of Spaniards are keeping you company that completely botched their first omelet. It's really not complicated. It is not hard. It's just a matter that may take you one try, and then you kind of get the hang of it. If you are really worried about it, look for some recipes online, some tutorials. My assisted graphics are not enough for you. You need somebody in motion to be doing this for you. There's a couple million recipes online, and it's funny because, you know, I have looked for these to see all the variants and all the different omeletting that people do. And it's weird how literally every recipe you find, there will be some kind of difference. Everybody does something a little bit different. You son of a bitch. Just catch it. Absolute piece of scum. Everybody does something a little bit different. My omelet, I make it different than my mother does. I make it different than my brother does it. Every Spaniard worth their salt will have their own little way to make a Spanish omelet. This may be a weird topic. This may be a kind of a boring or tedious or completely non sequitur type of topic. But it is within the vein of what I've been talking about, which is just doomerism. This is the poor man's. It's a poor man's recipe. Ugh. It is something that will keep you afloat. Better still than ramen and pounds of rice. Maybe not as much as pounds of rice, but it will, because, you know, you're getting much better nutrition than a cup of rice or some garbage ass ramen that literally is just empty carbs. This shit has protein, carbs, and minerals in the salt. Sodium. And the ingredients are super inexpensive compared to how much food you're going to get out of it. It feeds 3 or it creates 3 meals if you are a rat urbanite that lives alone in his little cubicle alongside 17 other atomized bug people. Maybe don't be so atomized. Maybe go to your other bug people and say, hey, would you like some omelette? I made it. It's pretty good. Try it. You've never heard about it? Yeah, it's this weirdo that plays Spelunky on YouTube. He just started talking about it one day. He must have been up on acid or something. He just got in his head that he really wanted to talk about this omelette. So just to shut him up in my head a bit, because it became a non-stop diatribe inside of my head until I finally got around to doing it. Well, here it is. And he was actually right. He was actually quite delicious. And this is going to be something that I'm going to be making to feed myself for literally $2.50 a meal. Of course, depends where you live. There is just no black market. I'm pretty sure Derek patched it out of the game after so many years of Spelunky HD being out. The black market, it has been patched out of the game, never again to be seen. Happy to see this, Derek. That thing was dragging everybody down. I hated it. I'm so glad that it's over. We don't have to deal with it again. Whoopla. There you go. Anyway, you let that cool. I always cover it with a paper towel. I don't know if that's necessary. It just feels wrong to just leave it out in the counter without it being covered. So I'm going to cover it with a freaking paper towel, okay? Just don't judge me. And then eat it once it has time to settle, 15 minutes or so. But, oh baby, cold omelette is where it's at. Not cold from the fridge, just cold from sitting out in the air. Just sitting out on the counter. Maybe you cover it up in the oven or something. Not with the oven on, just a nice little container where you keep your leftovers, you know what I'm saying? and you eat that. Oh, cold omelet. What a pleasure. What a pleasure for the senses. Cannot recommend it enough. Absolutely incredible piece of food. Oh, baby. It's all right. We're going to figure this one out. Whoopla. There you go. And that's all I have to say about that. I've run out of things to tell you about the omelette. I do wonder, though, about the veracity of the things that I've been saying about every Spaniard having a proper omelette recipe. It's not true. But most will. And it's indeed a rite of passage. My mother taught me to make it, and then I never made it again. So I had to kind of relearn it on my own through YouTube. It is a bit of a betrayal of the way she does it, but between you, me, and the YouTube algorithm, I'll confess to you, the end result is incredible. It's delicious. She makes incredibly good omelets. The way she does it, though, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. She will dice the fries like the potatoes like they're actual fries. Like dice them like literal D6 dice, you know, and she will dunk them in the deep fryer. Like making regular ass fries. And that will be her fries, and then she cooks the onion separately, then mixes it all together. So her omelets are always a little bit more crunchy, a little bit more, not oily, but you know, they have been cooked more and they are fried.